This session we'll see how to use relationships while creating a database. Suppose we have a database for procurement. We'll take three tables here: suppliers list table and procurement related PO items table, and then PO header table. So let us say the supplier list table contains the fields listed here. Say supplier has ID, supplier name, contact name, address, and then other email, telephone details. Then when you're releasing the PO, there is a PO number, the PO date, supplier to whom we are placing the PO, and then to whom the attention we are placing the PO, and the reference of supplier and the company, the subject tagline, then some other fields what we need. And then when you are releasing a PO, again we'll have items. So item will have link to PO number, and then item description, item code, and quantity. Let us say this simple. Let us take these three tables. Access offers an option to create relationships. It's not mandatory for a database to be usable, but however, if you have the relationships linked to tables, then it gives more functionality, more better data display. So as you see here, if you go to the tab, there is a database tools tab. Under this, you have here relationships. So it is showing here relationships. So if you click this one, then it will give the functionality of relationships. Let us say we have these three tables: suppliers list and the procurement PO details and the PO items. So at the moment, these three tables are independent. They are not linked. Say there is supplier ID in the supplier list, and then other details. Then you come to the PO, there is supplier ID again. Why? When you make the PO, we are linking this, we have an option to link the PO with the supplier list. And then here, there is a PO number here. Again, the items that table has the PO number. So when we use the access for relationships, we can link the supplier ID with this table supplier ID. Again, the PO number of this table can be linked to this PO items PO number. This way, all the three are linked, which means if you have a supplier, if you want to know how many POs are released, by clicking the supplier ID, you can know how many POs are issued and how many PO items are linked to this PO. As an example, suppose the supplier, we have four supplier IDs. So the first supplier ID is 1000. For this supplier, you see here there is a plus sign here. This plus sign indicates, if you expand it, you will find the POs issued. Say the PO number, say there is a PO number here 5001, another PO number 5002, 5003. So for this supplier, see the supplier number 1000. If you go to supplier now 1001, there is a plus sign. If you expand, you can expand it. Under this PO, for example, 5001, you find here the item, the PO is released. So this is a link which gives a relationship between tables, and all data, the related data will be displayed. So this we'll see practically how we do on an Access database. Say, let us take a database which has three tables. Now we'll try to see the difference between having a relationship or not having a relationship. Okay, now we go and create one form to enter the data of PO, let us say. So we'll create a form without relationship. We'll work first without relationship and see the difference. Okay. Now we'll create a sub form with the PO items. So this is the table. Go for create. And then create, go to forms, go to more forms. So when you go to more forms, select this data sheet. Okay. Now it created a form. Now you can close this one, say yes. So it is asking the name of the form. So let us name this one as sub FRM procurement PO items. So let us say PO items only. Now let us close this table. So you have in the forms, so we created subform, which is PO items. Now let us create a form from the PO header table. So create, you can go and create a form wizard. So this is the table procurement PO. So we'll have PO number, PO date, supplier ID, attention, references, subject line, and then say shipping terms, delivery date, payment terms. So let us keep this PO feeds and then keep this tabular column. So let us create this as FRM. This is a form, the name, a finish. So it gave a form. Now we'll add into this form subform. Okay. Let us add previously created form. So just we'll try to make few adjustments here to occupy the less space. So we'll move this here. Supplier ID, references, give the subject line, shipping terms. So let us move them here. Let us align to left. Now let us insert from here a subform. So this icon gives subform. Click here. It will ask you which form. So already it displays you the form existing forms. Now we will link these two forms. This is from the mother form. So we link the PO number from main form to subform. We have PO number here. So these two are linked. Say finish. This will create us a form, and then just to keep a command button here. Say form close option we can give. Let us close this one. So it will save a form. Okay. Now close this one. Let us go to forms. Let us display all the objects we have. All the objects. So we have this is the form we created. Say now here it is showing what is showing. There is a PO number 5001. For this PO number, now let us select a supplier ID. Now let us go back. Actually, we should have linked here supplier ID. We can create, we can go to the table here, put design. We have supplier ID here. So we can, one of the options we have is we go to lookup table, pick up a combo box. Then pick up the table which has the data. So supplier list. So when you have supplier list here, so it gives you option to select from the drop down. Let us come to this form, and this one, let us replace the supplier ID with the drop down box. You just go and delete this what we created earlier. Again, go to the field list and drag this field here. You will see here there is a drop down appearing because we changed it in the table. Say close, again open. Now you see here, you can see the supplier ID. So for this supplier, so we are placing this PO, and you can go and see the next record. Go to next record. Say this is 5001. So let us take now the next record. 5002. Let us select same supplier. Okay, go to 4003. Say we take another supplier ID. So take another supplier ID. For each PO, you can select the supplier. We need to have a supplier. So let us select each PO has got a supplier. Say now you can see scroll through all the POs. So the PO number 1 has supplier ID 1000. PO number 2 has supplier ID, and PO number 3 has different supplier ID. So you have for each supplier, and there is a item. So if you want to add another item, you can add any item. A09 pieces PC, let us say. So this is an example. This is how, let us say, create a PO. Now, what we see here, the table here you see here, if you open, it is showing you all the POs list, 501, 502, 503, 501. So you have all the list of the POs, and who is the supplier. Supplier ID is here, and then to whom we are replacing these details are there. Now, if you open the supplier list, you have the supplier list is there. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 suppliers. Who is the supplier name? This is details of the supplier. Then you have the PO items. So the PO items, so say you have these PO items. This is the PO item code, and this is linked to this PO. If you want to sort, you can sort and see, okay, this is a PO number. This is the another PO. So all the PO numbers are here. And then item codes are there. So you have 3 tables with no detail in each one linked. But you will see the difference when you have the relationship. What will happen? Now we want to know, for example, this supplier has got how many POs under issued. So you cannot get directly from here, but you have to go here and then see in the POs. Okay, this supplier, say supplier 1000 code, so he has 2 POs. And say another supplier, you want to go to 1001, so we have here 3 POs. This way you have to filter it. So each PO, each supplier ID, you have to go and see how many POs are released. Okay, now we'll see what difference it will make when we have the relationships function utilized. So we'll close this one. Now let us go to here, the tool, database tools. Now there is a function here, relationships. Just click on this relationships. It gives a pop-up with the tables, queries, and both. So here we don't have queries, so let us take tables. So we have 3 tables. So you can just add 3 tables, select all of them, say add. So it gives 3 tables here. Just to see the tables, what we have, what fields we have. So when you are releasing the PO, what we generally do, we select the PO. We select the supplier name to whom we are placing the PO. So the same, we want to link because we do not want to every time also enter every data into a form. So if we link, it can take the data from here for this use, and this can take data from here. This is how it works. So you say supplier ID. Now, when you're placing the PO, so this supplier you will pick it from here. So what do? You just keep your mouse, hold, and drag to here, because we have both fields common. Both have the name need not be same, but their properties should be same, and they should have same kind of information. So this one is the first table. It's called mother table. Other one is child table or foreign table. So this table is related to this table. See the table supplier list. It is giving supplier list. You can see here the name supplier list. There is supplier list table, which is this one. And then you have procurement PO table, which is this one. So these two we are linking. Now there is a join type. Okay, you click this one. It gives three options. What it says, first option, only include rows where joined fields from both tables are equal, which means when you enter the data, you have the supplier ID, for example, 1000, and then you have here also in the PO table you have 1000. You are saying just display the records where both the fields have equal. Also, second, in case you have more data in one of the tables, for example, you have 100 suppliers, but you release the PO only 5 suppliers, let us say. We have option to choose. It can give all the 100 suppliers, include all records from the supplier list, and only records from the table POs. Means you have all 100 suppliers here, but you have 5 records in the 5 POs in the PO table. Then it will give all the supplier list if you select this one. But if you take option 3, include all records from procurement PO, and only those records from the supplier list. So for example, you have here 100 suppliers, but we have only 10 POs. So if you select the third option, it will give only 10 records from here, because you have only 10 suppliers. So it will take 10 of these suppliers, and then from out of 100, it will take only 10 suppliers. So your data will have only 10 records. But whereas if you select option 2, then suppose you have 100 here, 100 suppliers, and you release 10 POs. Then resulting data will be 100 records. It will have 100 records, which means you are saying include all records from here and only records matching to this one. So you have all 100 records, and then if there is no data, then it will be displaying only 0. There is no data. No data will be displayed. So this is how the options we select. So when you select the first option, the display will be, suppose you have 100 here, okay, and if you have 10 here. Now, whatever equal, it will give only 10. It will not give more than 10 records. If the both should be equal, then only it will give equal data. Wherever the data is equal, it will give. Once with PO number is matching, it will give. So now let us select only the first option. Let us see first option. Join type and create. You say, okay, enforce referential integrity means data has to be checked. Okay, save okay. Now you see here, it will give the supplier ID, and whatever the data is matching to this will, it will give you the data, the link the data. So it is called one-to-many. The field here you see the infinity symbol here, it's many. It's called one. From one supplier, whatever the POs are there, it will give. Now, after this link, we link between these two tables. So the PO table, purchase order table, has a PO number, and for each PO you have items. So if we link these two, you again keep the mouse and drag it to this field. Hold and drag it. So you see the plus sign is in. Now again, it will open the relationship pop-up. This is the PO number from the procurement PO table. Another one, PO items table. Again, you can say enforce referential integrity. Go to join type. What do we want? We want only records include rows where join fields both are equal, or include all records from table PO and only those records from table procurement, include all records from procurement items. So as explained before, let us keep where both the items are equal. We can try each of them and you can see the result how varies when you choose other options. So now say okay, create. Now the link is created. So you see the relationship is established. Now if you want to delete this relationship, you can keep the mouse here, right mouse click, and it says you can delete or edit in both cases. Suppose you have a field here and here matching, then you can bring, you can join them. For example, it will give you like joining option, but to join, both the fields should have the same kind of data type. That's most important, and they should be related. Otherwise, it will create a error. It will not give the data. So let us say we created a relationship here. Close and save the relation. Do you want to save to layout of relationships? Yes. Now again, you go and say database tools and relationships. Then it will give you the relationship we created. Okay. Now let us see here. Let us open the supplier list. Now you see here, you see some change in the table. We have 4 suppliers as we have seen before, but you see here there is a plus sign came for each supplier. This was not there before. When we did not create a relationship, this sign was not there. Now let us click on the plus sign. You see what happens. So this supplier 1000 supplier code, and you have the supplier name details. You want to know what happens to this. When you expand it, you find there are 2 POs for this supplier. There are PO number 5001, PO number 502, and the PO date and PO, all the other details of the PO. Now you come again, expand the second one. So PO number 1001. The supplier name 1001. Now this supplier has 3 POs with him. Expand this one. So this supplier has 1 PO. And expand this one, this supplier has 2 POs. So if you close it, so you'll see only the supplier list. Now the supplier is linked to the purchase order. How many purchase orders? Now let us go again back. So click here. So you see there are 2 POs. Now for this PO, what items are there? Expand this one, you find, okay, there is an item here. Okay, the second PO, expand this one, so there is an item here, which means the supplier is linked to the level of item what we have placed order. This gives you the comprehensive information about a purchase order to a supplier. So this is possible only when you use the relationships option. For example, take this one. So we have here showing again plus sign. We release two POs, and again if you expand, you find the items we place to this guy. And if you expand this one, you see the items created. So this is the difference of using a relationship option. So let us close this one. Let us see what happened to the form. You click the form. You go to the different records. You find the data is same, no change. The data is not changed. But when you go to the table, you will find all the necessary data, which means you get all the links related to this supplier. Now, instead of this supplier, if you want to go and only see the PO, so open the PO table, you see all the POs here, and you see a plus sign here. So you expand it, you will see for this PO what are the items, for this PO what are the items, for this PO what are the items. If you come to the you close this form and come to the PO items, it will not show any plus sign here. Why? There is no more sub table or sub linked to this PO items. So the hierarchy is the supplier list has a POs issued, and the POs have items. This is how the relationship is created. So again, you want to create a relationship, use the database tools, go to relationship, and this relationships you can try to change this this relationship type. So click on the link, the relationship joining link, and double click it. Let us say join type. Let us say you select all the records from the PO, second option, and only records from the PO items. So let us say create this one, say OK. Close this one and try to open now again supplier list. Now click this one. So it is showing you the same POs. Click this one. So there is no change. It is showing the same. Maybe if you have multiple items, then we may see the change. Now let us again go back to relationships. Okay. Now let us change this relationship. Now here, go to join type. Say include all records from table PO and only those records from supplier list where the joint fields are equal. Let us say select this one. Okay. Now close this relationship. Now open the supplier list. Click this one. It is showing the PO numbers and then the item codes. In this case, we don't see a difference, but when you have plenty of data, you find why it is important to have this relationship properly defined. So this way you can create relationships, which is a very useful tool to get all the data linked in the table at the table stage. Thank you very much.